everybody. Hi and welcome to today's Facebook Live. Today we are going to talk about migration and migrating animals. At any point in the live, if you have a hard time hearing, there are some videos. Please let us know and I will try to fix whatever needs fixing. But hopefully we've got it all set up so we'll be good. So back to migration. Migration is when an animal travels from one place to another in order to stay warm, find a mate, or find new food. Birds are the most common animals that migrate. So before we really get into it, I wanted to ask you guys these questions that you see on the screen. And put your answers in the comment section. So the first question I have for you guys is, what are some animals that migrate? The second question, do you know what animal migrates the farthest distance? Next is, can you guess what the smallest migrating animal is? And can you guess what the biggest migrating animal is? So I'm going to give you guys a minute to answer those questions, put them in the comment section, and while you guys answer that, I'm actually going to have some pictures pop up on the screen so you guys have a chance to answer all of those questions. So let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to give you guys just a couple more seconds to put in any answers you may have. So I have Jamie over here helping me with anyone who comments. So hi, Kristen. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk obviously about some animals that migrate today. So I'm sure you guys have some in your head. But the rest of these questions we are going to cover during our live today. So yay. So all of these pictures that I showed during while you guys were writing down your answers are actually all animals that migrate. So even elephants, jellyfish, flamingos, across the animal kingdom, there are animals that migrate. But today we are going to focus on 4 migrating animals. So we've got the butterfly, the whale, a hummingbird, and salmon. So the first animal we're going to talk about is the monarch butterfly. Monarch butterflies are a type of insect, and milkweed is a very important plant for them because as caterpillars, that's basically all they eat. Monarch butterflies live across North America, which you can see on the map over here, including up here in Spokane. So during the spring and summer, you can see monarch butterflies around Spokane, but in the fall or winter when it gets cold, monarch butterflies have to migrate south. A lot of the butterflies that live around Spokane end up flying down to California to spend the winter there. So some butterflies even will travel up to 5,500 miles, which is crazy to think that a little insect could fly that long. In California, it's going to be warm, there's plenty of food all winter long, and so it makes a great spot for them to kind of winter. So I want to know if any of you guys have seen any monarch butterflies around Spokane or anywhere before. Like I said, they live across North America, so you're likely to see them anywhere. And next, I'm going to show you guys a video of where the butterflies migrate to in the winter. So monarchs they'll travel in large groups, they'll rest in these groups of thousands of butterflies. And in this video, it will show you just how cool it really is. So I'm going to step out of the way and start it.
In the heart of this grove, 500 million monarch butterflies lie sleeping. They have traveled from as far as Canada to escape the cold northern winter. How they return to this exact spot is a mystery. Like the butterflies, hummingbirds feed on nectar, so our spy isn't seen as a threat. While resting, they cluster together to conserve precious warmth. But as the winter ends, the sun warms their fragile wings. Once they reach a critical 50 degrees, they start to fly. As the day warms, the forest comes to life. Spy hummingbird won't harm these delicate butterflies. Its moving parts are shielded to keep them safe. Butterflies can even safely land on its wings. It begins to capture something quite extraordinary. What starts as a trickle soon becomes a stream. Then grows into a cascade. A spectacle that has rarely been filmed. And our spy is harmlessly in the very heart of it. Beauty also lies in the detail.
Super cool, right? I just want to say hi to Tina. I know you joined in, and hi to everyone else who is here that I didn't happen to see. And monarch butterflies, like that video showed, are kind of incredible for how small they are and that distance that they fly. So next, we are going to talk about the calliope hummingbird. This is the smallest migrating bird in North America. Most birds in general migrate to find warmer weather during the winter, and calliope hummingbirds do the same thing. They are a native bird to Spokane, so you can find them here during the summer and the spring, and in order to have babies. So during the winter, it's too cold for calliope hummingbirds up here, so they have to fly farther south in order to stay warm and find enough food, which you can see on the map here. Calliope hummingbirds are found up here near Washington, and then they have to go down, and this is where they migrate and stay there. And then they come back up to Washington. So spring in Washington means there's lots of flowers, it's warmer, and there's lots of places for these little hummingbirds to make nests. So that's why Spokane is the perfect place for these guys to have their babies and let them grow up. So the next animal we're going to talk about is a mammal, and it's the mammal that migrates the farthest distance. Gray whales travel about 12,000 miles, starting up near Alaska and migrating down near Baja, Mexico. This is a gray whale. They pass by Washington during the spring and the fall months while they're traveling to and from Alaska. Gray whales have baleen, which I completely forgot to bring over. We have some baleen here, but it's basically this huge, I can't even fit my hands in here. It's about this big, and it kind of looks like hairs that are coming down. And a lot of whales have it in order to catch small prey like krill.
Well, he might be hungry.
Don't worry, whales don't eat clownfish, they eat krill.
Swim away!
Oh look, krill!
So, I actually have a little video if I can get the next slide to go up. There we go. That's going to tell us more about gray whales and their migration from Alaska to Mexico.
It is late spring on Kodiak Island, Alaska. The air and the water are growing warmer, and the locals have returned to feed. But even against this monumental landscape, all eyes are on the horizon for one of nature's most graceful giants, the gray whale. It is here that they begin and end the longest migration of any mammal. 12,000 miles from the icy waters of the Arctic to the warm lagoons of Baja, Mexico, and back again. Gray whales have a narrow, tapered head and a streamlined body. They surface only for a quick spout and breath before disappearing back into the ocean. Instead of teeth, gray whales have baleen, which is like a thick comb made up of long, fine hairs. Diving to the muddy bottom, gray whales scoop up sediment from the ocean floor, filtering out water and mud and trapping plankton and krill. In the 1700s and 1800s, whalers in search of oil, meat, and baleen hunted gray whales to near extinction. In 1946, an international treaty was signed to provide oversight and management of whale hunting. But it was under the protection of the Endangered Species Act in 1974 and NOAA's careful management since that the eastern Pacific gray whale recovered to a sustainable population. Today, nearly 24,000 gray whales continue their annual migration along the coast of North America, giving humans a glimpse of these majestic creatures that live in the deep.
Those whales, you can actually see them, like I said, if you live in western Washington, or like over by Seattle, you can see them in the oceans over there, which is really cool, because they are giant. Okay, so now our last animal that we're really going to talk about and go into are salmon. And Washington is really cool because it's home to several salmon species. And I chose sockeye salmon to talk about today, but all salmon migrate. A wild salmon will start as an egg in rivers across Alaska, western Canada, Washington, and into parts of Idaho and Oregon. These salmon grow up into what are called fry, and they're small fish, and as the fry grow into larger fish, they make their way downstream towards the ocean. These young salmon migrate from the rivers and streams to the oceans. The young fish continues to grow when they're in the ocean and until they're ready to lay eggs. Then the salmon will migrate again, and this time the salmon swims from the ocean upstream until it reaches the same stream that it hatched from. Then the salmon will lay its eggs and die. So this is an exhausting migration, but it's necessary for the survival of the salmon. Like I said, all salmon do this, but most fish don't. So this migration makes salmon really special. And if you'd like to learn even more, there's a really cool Magic School Bus episode where Miss Frizzle takes the kids to learn all about salmon and their migration. It was way too long for me to put in this live, but you can find it on YouTube. So highly recommend. Now back to the question that I asked at the beginning of the Facebook Live. this already has the answers on it, but the animal that migrates the farthest distance is the Arctic tern. It flies from Greenland, which is way up in the north, in the Arctic, down to Antarctica every year. That's a trip of over 44,000 miles. So during its lifetime, this little bird ends up flying about 1.3 million miles. That's about the distance from the Earth to the Moon times 3, which is crazy, because you can see how tiny the little chick is over here. So it's a small bird, it's not a big bird. The smallest migrating animal is zooplankton. So these are tiny, tiny animals. Basically, you have to use a microscope to really see them. And they live in the ocean, and they actually migrate vertically through the water. So they migrate from the ocean depths to the ocean surface every day. During the day, they stay hidden in the deep ocean, but at sunset, they'll come up to feed on the phytoplankton. So phytoplankton are even smaller animals that live in the ocean, and they need the sun to survive, so that's why they live near the surface. So zooplankton need to move up in order to eat these little guys, but they want to stay hidden at night, or in the day, sorry, when there's a lot of predators and animals around to eat them, because basically everything eats zooplankton. So the biggest migrating animal, and I'm going to get out of the way for this one, is the blue whale. Blue whales are about as long as 3 school buses, and you can see the elephant over there. Looks tiny compared to this blue whale, because it would be. So blue whales actually eat krill, just like gray whale, and blue whales live in every ocean except for the Arctic. They don't live very high north. Very little is actually known about blue whale migrations. What scientists do know is that some blue whales travel very short distances in order to find food, while other whales travel from the north to south oceans looking for their food, which again is krill. So each blue whale group travels and behaves differently from different groups, making it really hard to kind of study. So, all right. So that's it for today's live. I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned something new. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section now, and Jamie or someone will tell me what they are so I can answer them. But if you haven't already, make sure to like us, follow us, share our posts. We're only doing Facebook Lives for a couple more weeks, so let us know if there's any topics you really want us to cover. These are all of our social media platforms, so let me scoot down. You're probably already following us on Facebook, but that's our Facebook. Our YouTube channel is Outdoor Learning Center, so all of our Facebook Lives go on there after we're done. So please check us out on there. We also have other videos and crafts that kids can do. And our Instagram is at WV Outdoor Learning Center. So check us out on there too. We do posts. Yeah, I think that's everything. So, are we good? Okay. We are good. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.